The performance of the night went to Buckley and Antonina, and then the first fight of the night won the fight of the night. They all won $50,000.
Dana, pretty impressive performance from Deiveson Figueiredo in the main event. Just wanted to get your thoughts on kind of his performance tonight and this emerging force as a dominant flyweight champion.
Yeah, he looked incredible tonight. He's fun to watch. He can knock you out. He can submit you. And the guy's he's got that meanness to him. When he comes into fight, you know, he's fun.
Yeah. It's funny, right? Because the flyweight division was the one that was always hard to market. Do you feel like this guy's simple to market? I mean, he's out there, the god of war, out there trying to just crush people?
Yeah, I mean, you never know what people, if you don't like this guy, stop watching fights. You need to find a new hobby if you don't like watching him.
Unique position tonight because Brandon Moreno, it seemed like kind of a de facto #1 contender fight with Royval. He wins. He says he wants the champ. Deiveson says, I want Moreno. So is that done deal? I mean, is that the right fight?
We're going to keep him here. He's not going back to Brazil. We're going to turn him right around.
Really? How fast do you think that'll happen?
December.
Wow. That fight right there will happen sometime in December?
Yeah. That's what we're working on.
Very cool. Valentina Shevchenko, talk about her. I mean, obviously, she looked great again tonight. You know, people now get excited when she loses a round that, you know, there's something going on. So what did you think of her?
Yeah, the odds dropped like crazy when she lost that round. I bet you that knucklehead that bet $12,000 to win 600 was freaking out in the second round. Yeah. But even though she lost the second round, she looked completely dominant tonight. Started picking her apart later on, and obviously Maya is super tough, man. I mean, so tough. And, you know, I think that Andrade Shevchenko is a very fun fight. And the thing I love about that fight, too, is that Shevchenko's at a place in her career now where she needs an opponent that people think actually has a chance of beating her. And I think we all know that Andrade does.
Have you talked to Valentina yet? I mean, that does seem like the fight to make, about like how soon she'd be able to fight or anything like that.
No.
Want to ask you one more about the main card. Shogun Rua, obviously a legend of the sport, but it looked a little bit flat tonight. He's kind of talked about the end being near, that sort of thing. Have you had a chance to discuss them at all?
No, but I hope it is. I hope that tonight was his last night. I would like to see him retire.
Somebody on the front in their career, Joaquin Buckley, had another pretty fantastic night. Maybe not as viral as the first one, but I don't know how you would do it again. But what did you think of his performance?
Yeah, I mean, he went in there against a guy who was undefeated tonight and went right after him, throwing tons of bombs, never got winded, never got tired. Almost knocked him out at the end of the first round, kept his composure, came back in the second and finished it. I mean, you couldn't look any better than he did tonight.
Last couple for me, Conor McGregor kind of announced this week that he's signed on to fight January 23rd. Are we ready to announce Conor, Dustin, January 23rd, Abu Dhabi?
I think we did, didn't we?
If it was on the broadcast, I don't know.
Huh? No, I mean, we announced it the day that he signed the bout agreement. It's a fight.
All good to go. And then his reps came out and said, later on, after that, Pacquiao is a fight that they'd like to see. Is that something that you've...
Who said that?
That Conor's rep said, Audi said it, his manager, that he'd like to see Conor Pacquiao, and that's going to happen at some point. Do you have thoughts on that? Is that something you're interested in seeing?
I don't have any thoughts on it now.
Fair enough. And last one for me, Mark Ratner tonight, inducted into the Hall of Fame. Just wanted to, get your thoughts on that and what he means to the company and the sport, and ask what is the plan for the Hall of Fame? I mean, it's kind of a weird year, I know. So are we doing an induction, or how's that going to work?
Yeah, first of all, obviously, Mark is a legend in the sport of boxing and mixed martial arts. One of the greatest guys ever, you know, and there's so many people hate each other in this sport. Nobody hates Mark Ratner. Everybody loves Ratner. He's one of the most respected guys ever in combat sports. So to finally induct him into the Hall of Fame tonight means a lot to us as a company. You know, I know you saw a lot of Lorenzo in the video. You know, very, very close to Lorenzo too, and to many of you. So it was a good night.
Are there plans for like a ceremony this year? Or anything?
I have no clue, man. This fucking wacky world we're living in right now. I don't know what's gonna happen.
What took so long to get him in?
Good point. Yeah. No, he deserves it.
I wanted to ask you about Valentina. You know, she's at a spot like where people are disappointed when she fights like that. What do you have to do to take it to that next level to kind of get the fans back, you know, where she's absolutely dominant against a very good fighter and people are disappointed in how she goes? What do you think she has to do to kind of turn that around again?
She doesn't have to do anything. Just keep doing what she's doing. Keep winning. You can't listen to the fucking fans and the media. You fight your own fight. You fight the way that you need to fight. It's not like she, you know, laid and prayed on somebody for the whole thing. She was picking her apart at the end of that fight. I got to look here, but I'm assuming from all the fights that I've seen in my life that Maya's nose is broken. I mean, it looked like a bad road. Her nose was going a bunch of different directions. I mean, when you go in and dominate somebody the way that she did, you don't have to listen to anybody else. Just keep doing what you're doing.
How do you feel like when you look at her and Amanda? Do you think it makes sense to put them together again at some point, given how close their two fights were and what she's doing in her division?
Well, let's talk about Jessica Andrade first. I mean, Andrade is a very, very good fight for her. That's a tough fight. I mean, if you're going to go out and be safe the first couple of rounds against somebody, you know, like Jennifer, what are you going to do against Andrade? Andrade is going to bring her a lot of things she's never seen before. Not to mention the power that Andrade has. I mean, she just knocked a girl out, a really good girl, like the number 2 girl in the world, with a body shot. She's a real problem for Shevchenko that she's going to have to figure out. And if she does, I think the fight that makes more sense is Weili Zhang will fight here soon. And after Weili fights, that maybe you do those two. But I don't know. Just off the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking.
And one last question about Valentina. What is it in your mind that she is best at? Like, you know, she's so well-rounded. Like, you know, you say, hey, she's dominant at this. Is there anything in your mind when you look at her striking, or, you know, what would you say is her best attribute?
I would agree with you that she's very well-rounded. I mean, some of those slams tonight, her ground game, her stand-up is ridiculous. When she lands punches, they're hard, straight punches. Obviously, her kicks are nasty too. You know, she is a handful for anybody.
And you know, you almost got rid of the featherweight division at one point, and now you have, you know, so many fun fights out there that are potentially out there. Do you think it's just a cyclical thing? Like when you were thinking of getting rid of them, was it just because guys weren't performing, or what was it that led you to even consider that decision? Yeah, well, I never, you know. We would sit in matchmaking meetings and battle over this thing forever. And obviously I'm glad we didn't, but, you know, the division needed a little bit of rebuilding. We rebuilt it, and this is the result. How do you think this kid, I mean, obviously he's just getting started as a champion. I know not a kid, but, you know, just getting started as a champion. You look at somebody like Mighty Mouse, who had been around for a long time. Do you see him comparing favorably to Demetrius in terms of what he can do in the cage and the kind of fighter he would be? Yeah, well, this kid is so much different. I mean, he's mean. This kid's mean. He comes in with bad intentions, and he looks like he's got bad intentions. And I think people gravitate toward those type of fighters more. And let's see if he can go on a run, you know, that can make the kid a legend. I mean, he's got all the tools, and that, like I said, he can knock you out. He can submit you. And he's a scary little dude, man. And then the last thing I wanted to ask you is, you know, where do you go with Mike Perry? He's 500 in his career. You know, he's giving you some trouble and whatnot. After that fight tonight, you know, do you think he has a future in the UFC? Listen, he's always tough and fun to watch. You know, that third round, what I really like about Mike Perry is, you know, depending on how you guys scored it, but I'm sure you gave him the first round, gave Tim the second, and the third was up for grabs. He tried to win that fight, man. He stood on his ground, and those two just started trading punches. He's fun to watch. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it means where he goes after tonight, but he's a fun fighter.
Right. You mentioned you wanted Davidson in December. Would that be the pay-per-view card? Because I know the 19th card is already pretty stacked.
Yeah, we don't know. It would be one of those.
Have you spoken to Brandon Royval after his shoulder pop?
I haven't.
And then you spoke about Shogun, but what about Paul Craig? He looked very impressive. He made Shogun tap to strikes, which I'm sure no one thought would happen. So what do you go with him moving forward?
Yeah, no, he looked good, and not to take anything away from him at all. You know, he came in and did what he had to do tonight. But just being honest, Shogun didn't look like Shogun to me tonight. Shogun looked old and looked like a shell of his former self tonight. So, yeah, I'd like to see him hang it up, hopefully.
And what'd you make of Kyle Dawkins, young middleweight, coming off his first loss, gets his first big win in the UFC? What'd you make of his performance?
Yeah, great. No, he did what he needed to do tonight. Definitely.
Dana over
Yes,
here.
sir.
How does it feel to see somebody from the Contender Series? I know it didn't work out for him, but see the show works.
Yeah, no. I mean, listen, I was talking about this the other day. If you look at the Ultimate Fighter and the people that came off that, and, you know, some of the legends of the sport came off the Ultimate Fighter. And these kids that are coming out of the Contender are way nastier than the kids from early on in the Ultimate Fighter. You're going to see world champions coming off that show. It's going to happen.
I know with pandemic going on, nobody knows what to expect from today to tomorrow. But do you see yourself coming down to Texas like your friend Eddie Hearn them to put on live shows? Because that's what they're doing in the boxing side. Like Canelo comes up, I think, December 19th. Earl Spence is fighting in 2 weeks. And it's all because Texas is so wide open. You see how it happened in 2021 and getting back to live events?
I'll go anywhere where I can sell out the whole arena.
Oh, it's constricted. It's not the whole arena, but
Yeah.
you can get
Then you won't see me in Texas then.
What about Jerry World though? You
Nah.
got enough room?
Won't do it. No, I'll stay here at the Apex instead of going somewhere where we can't have a full crowd.
And how's it feel good to be the trendsetter for all of sports? I got people in the NBA side like, man, I know you cover MMA. Dana might be the sportsman of the year. How's it cool to see your name come up in that conversation for turning things around when everybody thought everything was bleak?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
How's it feel to have your name come up in that conversation?
That doesn't suck. I appreciate it. You know, especially if you look at the you know, the criticism that I took being first and going in. So to hear that now, yeah, doesn't suck.
Hey, Dana. Down here.
Yeah. Do you have another one, or you?
Well, one last one.
Go ahead.
When will you think that we'll get to see a mega fight where we have like you got John and Israel and they go back and forth, and now I know you got Izzy going to fight Blachowicz.
Yeah.
Will that fight ever materialize, or just Twitter where they're just talking back and forth?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, you know, it's all talk right now, but Israel Adesanya wants to move up and take that fight. So we'll see how this whole thing plays out. It's not done yet, but yeah, they're interested, and so are we.
Is John officially a heavyweight though?
No,
Okay.
not that I'm aware of. He hasn't told us.
What's up? I saw earlier this week it was announced Tony Ferguson is fighting Charles Oliveira. So I was wondering what that meant for Michael Chandler, because it looked like him and Tony were potentially going to fight.
Yeah, well, he just cut weight. He had just cut the weight in Abu Dhabi, so he couldn't do it. So, you know how we do it. We roll, we make fights, and these fights will happen, and then we'll see what's next for Chandler.
Would a name like, so would you look at booking him against like Gaethje or maybe Dan Hooker, or what sort of
I don't
level
know. I mean, obviously those are the two guys that are left, but I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out.
Thanks, Dana.
Dana, back here to your left.
Hey.
So, Buckley has some serious bad blood with James Krause. And I think a lot of people would be interested to see if that could be made. I know Krause is a welterweight, but he fought at middleweight less than a year ago. Any possibility that could be arranged?
Yeah, I didn't know that until tonight. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that's definitely a fight we can make. And obviously, if they both want it bad enough, why would I say no?
Absolutely. Antonina Shevchenko, how impressed were you with her performance?
I was very impressed with her performance tonight. Her ground game and overall game has come so far. Yeah, she looked incredible tonight. I mean, yeah, she won the performance of the night tonight, so
Absolutely.
she looked great.
Also, with Mike Perry missing weight like this, I'm sure you've heard people talking about larger fines, a bigger percentage that the fighter that misses weight. What do you think about that? Might that be something that could be implemented?
Yeah, it's not up to me, though. That's up to the athletic commission.
You would support it, though, if they made it a luxury.
Sure, they can do whatever they want.
Makes sense. Last thing, any thought of a women's atomweight division, 105?
I have thought about it. This isn't the year to do it.
Right.
Definitely not the year.
Sometime in the future, though.
Possible, yeah.
Awesome.
I've definitely thought about it and kicked it around.
I think it'd be great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Dana, would you be concerned about Davidson making weight twice in a month?
Yeah.
Are going to have a backup fighter or something?
I don't know. We didn't even make that fight yet.
You were talking about Shogun. What's the next step? Are you going to ask him to retire? Are you going to talk to him? How many fights does he still have?
Yeah, I think he has 2 fights left on his deal. But yeah, I'd like to see him retire.
My last question. Is Anderson released from UFC, from his contract?
Yes. Anderson is released from his contract. Yep.
Last one, prediction for Tyson versus Jones Jr.?
I don't know. It's such a tough one to call. You know, when's the last time we saw either one of them fight? Huh? What? What did the Tasmanian Devil say?
It's easy to call.
Easy to call? What is it? Tell me.
Roy Jones.
By what? Knockout?
Well, there's no knockout, so it'll just be a,
There's no knockouts?
No, they're not.
They're not allowed to knock each other out?
No.
Too dangerous.
How do you enforce that?
Well, that's the referee is going to give instructions in the locker room. According to Andy Foster, it's going to be hard sparring. Not they're not allowed to try to knock each other out.
All right.
That's truly an exhibition, then.
I'd like to bet that that doesn't happen. Can you bet on that? I want to.
No
bet.
betting on the fight because it's an exhibition.
Oh shit! You can't even bet on this fight. No. I did not know that. Okay. Teaching me things, you guys. I don't know. I don't even know what to say to that. Any other questions?
You know Adesanya is commentating.
You know how to what?
Adesanya is commentating it.
Yeah, I did know that. He told me that before it happened. I knew that was coming.
But
Good for
there's also no judges, and they're not going to announce a winner. So there's nothing there.
Shit. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
The hits keep coming.
Last thing here, Dana.
Yeah.
Any thought about the person that's going to be the new lightweight champion? Anything rattling around in your mind about?
Nah, I'm giving Habib some time, to think this over, and he and I are going to get together and meet soon. So.
Fair enough.
We'll talk. Did you have another one, brother?
Yeah. You said you're not going to go anywhere to have fans until you can have a full arena.
Right.
That is the plan in Abu Dhabi for Conor, though?
Yeah.
Is that going to be, like, can people buy tickets, or is it invited people? Or?
Still, I'm working on it still.
Okay. What, I guess, how difficult has that fight been to book? Has it been a pretty easy process for you?
The McGregor fight?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those two basically did it themselves. Those two said they wanted to fight. The contract not getting signed for a while by Conor, I mean, that didn't mean anything. That means nothing. Conor McGregor has never said, I'll fight, and then said, you know what, I'm not going to fight. He's never done that. So it was never even a concern for me.
Would you still be able to do it if there wasn't going to be fans?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to take a 10,000-seat arena and sell 5,000 tickets. That I'm not. I'd rather stay here.
Hey, Dana, just quickly, there was been a rumor going around that Governor Sisolak might, end what you're doing, what Top Rank's doing. Have you had any communication with his office?
Say that again?
Is there a chance that the governor won't let you continue to do this now since the coronavirus is getting worse? There was a rumor around that potentially he was going to put an order out saying that he wasn't going to allow Top Rank or you to keep doing these shows.
I never heard anything remotely close.
No,
to that.
you had no.
Look at what we've done. I mean, you know what I mean? That would be madness. Yeah, I haven't heard anything even remotely close to that. Go ahead, ma'am.
Las Vegas Aces guard Kelsey Plum sat in with the matchmakers recently. How did that come about, and you expect to see her back?
Because we saw her on Instagram saying that she wanted to be a UFC matchmaker when she was done playing basketball. So we brought her in, we walked her through the matchmaking 101, and we let her make a couple of fights. And yeah, she's awesome. She's a good kid, and we had a blast with her. So yeah, I'm open to it.
Well, she's incredibly competitive. I can imagine there was kind of some smack talk going on, and
I liked how, you know what? I liked how she walked into the room and was just like, she had her shit all written down. She knew what she wanted, and she wasn't shy. She's actually really cool. We had a good time with her. We good? Happy holidays, you guys. What's up, man?
One last thing. I know you're not a fan of Bob Arum. For boxing fans everywhere, they want to thank you for forcing him to put that Teofimo Lomachenko fight because of what y'all been doing in the UFC. That ESPN forced their hand. So how does it feel to be giving back to the combat sports community?
You keep setting me up with these things tonight, these great things, and asking me how I feel. How else could I feel but great about that? I love it. Make Bob Arum spend some more money. I love it.
What'd you think about that fight?
What did I think about it?
Yeah.
I didn't see the Lomachenko fight. We had I was on Fight Island. Yeah. I didn't see it. But thank you again. Happy holidays, you guys.
Valentina, congratulations on a very dominant performance. Overall, right now, how are you feeling about the way the fight went tonight?
Amazing. Felt so good, feel great. I'm happy that now I can say I'm back like 100%, and I don't want to wait anymore like long time, lay off without fighting. So I'm ready to get back and have another title defense.
Nice. Was there any concern tonight when you came in that physically you might not be at 100%?
No. On my training camp, we tested my body for like the full power, and I knew for sure it's gonna do everything needed. That's why it took a little bit, like few months more, to be sure that I will be back like 100%. But I knew it's gonna be everything fine. But now I know it more.
We're getting to the point now where people are surprised to see you lose rounds, basically. So what was going through your mind in round two? Was there any concern at all that, like what's going on here?
It was not kind of like, there is some dangerous situations sometimes, and you are like, this is a bad situation, and I don't know how to escape from this. And I was like, kind of like testing probably, seeing how it feels, how it's look, and I was like, okay, there is no damage in here, but I was like in my mind, but it's not good position for you, get out from there and never go back.
The takedowns played a big part in your game tonight. I thought you were having a lot of success on the feet too, but did you expect for the takedowns to factor into your game as much, or is that something you kind of decided on the fly? I train my coach Pavel. He every time trained me to do anything. On our training camp, we work stand-up, ground, wrestling, and when the time of the fight, I let my body to pick the technique what it wants to bring the victory. So it picked a lot of takedowns. Very nice. And Dana was here earlier, and he said he likes the idea of Jessica Andrade for you next, that that's a fight that he believes makes sense. Do you feel the same, that that's the right next challenger?
Every time, like, I don't choose my opponents. Whoever will gonna be like in front of me, I'm gonna face. So for me, it doesn't do any difference. Andrade or something else, someone else, or whoever. I think like. It would be fair to have Andrade against Lauren Murphy, because Lauren Murphy, she showed her strengths and she has a lot of wins, like straight wins. So, but the question, if I want to wait that much, I don't want to wait that much, because I was waiting a lot already, and I'm not agreed to wait more, because their fights and they have to recover, and it's gonna be a few months from here, and I'm ready to go back to the octagon as soon as I feel good, and I feel good.
Okay, last thing for me, I want to ask you. You said quick turnaround is what you want. do you ideally do you have a month, you know, like a time ready that you think, hey, it's January, it's February, it's March? What makes sense for you?
I didn't think about it yet, and I think I'm gonna think about it tomorrow because today we're gonna celebrate, but it's not gonna be long.
Valentina, congratulations. First thing I want to ask you is what did Antonina's victory and how good she looked do for you? Did it give you a little extra motivation when you were watching that in the back?
She did so amazing that in my thought it was I have to do the same, and it was like you know, when I saw her victory, it was okay. We have 1-0. Now we have to have 2 zeros because I don't want to come back and feel some like bad because of me. And that's why I told to myself, there is no way you're gonna come back to the house gonna back home with like not a victory. There is no way.
I wonder, you know, Jennifer is a black belt. She's, you know, has great jiu-jitsu. The fact that you were going to the ground with her showed a lot of confidence in your ground game. But I want to just go inside your decision to do that. Was there things that you saw that led you to go for the takedowns as opposed to trying to just do stand-up that you actually were doing very well in toward the end of the fight?
I don't have any doubt in my ground game, first. I don't have any doubt to have in my stand-up game and wrestling game as well. That's why I don't feel a fear to go in some positions that I don't like because I like them all. I don't have just fear. I feel very confident on the ground, stand-up, wrestling. That's why, how I said before, I let my body to pick what technique it wants to use to bring the victory. And I knew I test her, I test Jennifer's skills, and I knew I can do it. That's why I went for it.
What did you feel she was best at? I mean, you know, did she threaten you at all? You said before that you didn't feel any threats. Did, you know, what about her striking? I mean, did you feel she was better at one than the other?
I would say she was very good holding, to hold me as a cage, because it's like, you know, there is different body types of any people, and her body type, it's like has a lot of natural power, right? But it doesn't mean that it was kind of like hard for me there, but it was just hold. There is no damage, there is no nothing, just hold. And I was like, okay, you want to hold, whatever, I will strike you.
And my last question, Valentina, is, would you entertain a third fight with Amanda next year? Or, you know, Dana mentioned you potentially fighting Wiley if Wiley wins a fight and comes up. What would be of most interest to you, a third fight with Amanda or maybe fighting Wiley in a fight against her?
I think knowing that second hour fight I didn't lost to Amanda. I technically lost, but I don't. I think the third fight is going to be something big, but it has to be in the right time, right place, and I would like to see it like not without fans, with a lot of crowds, with a lot of energy, and yeah, because I know if it's going to happen someday, it's going to be huge, something huge.
Valentina, right here to your left, Colin Crandall for MMA Power Hour. Question for you: when your opponent was flattening you out, and you're on your back, and you know she's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I know you're good in Jiu-Jitsu, but were you having some thoughts that I have a black belt now on top of me, maybe I need to be very careful? Or what was your feeling if she would have started to try to go for some submissions?
You know, I have feelings that I have to be careful. Doesn't matter what positions I am. Even when I strike, I have that feeling that I have to be careful. This is the most what I have. Doesn't matter if I'm dominant in the fight and I go for my victory. At the same time, I'm very careful because I know it's only one mistake and you can lose everything. And this is not for me. I don't want to lose it.
Absolutely. Which fight were you more nervous about going into tonight, yours or for your sister?
I would say sincerely mine. You know why? Because I cannot be nervous for her because I cannot do nothing for her. She's only one who responsible for her victory. And you know, I was not worried about her because I saw how she was training, how good she's on the ground, what is her striking. And I watched her opponent as well because we have like all team watching the fights and saying our opinions. And I knew for sure that she's gonna do great. That's why I was not nervous at all.
Absolutely. Last question for me. What if Antonina starts going on this amazing
And she will.
win streak, right? And she will. What is the plan if that ever happens? All of a sudden, Antonina's number 7, then number 5, then number 3, number 2, number 1. What is the plan for the two of you?
I think we still have to have the backup plan, but I think in the future, today, we all was like witnesses of first sister fighting in the UFC event, having both victories. And I think in the future you will see 2 sisters having UFC belt.
Nice. So maybe not the same division, or
I think the same time definitely not same
right? It
division.
can't be right, but 2 different belts. That would be awesome. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Valentina over here. How big a deal is it for you and for your legacy to clean out this division?
This is what I am doing. It's like what I want because finally I'm in flyweight, my natural weight class, where I feel the most of me, the power, the technique, the speed, everything. And definitely I want to compete here for a long time to defend my belt against anyone who gonna be like in front of me. And you know, I heard some like people there saying like, oh, dominant champ, something like that. You are losing motivation. There is no motivation because you feel it's passing easy everyone, but it's not like that. Because the way what I did to become UFC champion, it's not one people can imagine that they're gonna do it. Because, for example, people who was born in United States, they can have 7, 8 fights and already fight for UFC. And me, I was starting doing martial arts. I was born in Kyrgyzstan. Martial arts I started to do at 5 years old. It took me 5 years ago, I joined UFC finally, right? It took 22 years from my start, moving around the world, traveling, fighting, winning world championships, like moving closer, closer, closer. 22 years with the record of 17 world championship. Just joined UFC, and after 27 years, I became world champion of UFC. So there is no way I'm gonna lose my motivation to still be the dominant champion and continue my success in martial arts because I know how hard it was.
How does it feel to have a mental edge over these girls before the fight start? Like I saw it when you fought Caitlin Shahagan and when you fought Jessica Ai, because like seems like they come in, they know that they can't. If Amanda Nunes didn't knock you out, and we know who all she's knocked out, what can they do? And that's what avenue they don't have. How does it feel to have that? How's it that aura of, I don't say invincibility, but that extra swag, as they say in the streets, that know that they are already kind of mentally defeated when they get in there with you?
I don't think that it's really happened here because UFC, it's a top league. There is no amateurs. There is no fighters who haven't this like mental. There is the best, only the best from whole world fighting here, and the best they are having different mental like settings in their head. They don't have this fear because the fight is fight. Of course, you're gonna like face some like opponent, some very strong opponent, but they gonna go there to lose. I don't think so because here only the best one who is fighting in UFC.
How many times do you plan on fighting in 2021 if you have your way?
I would like to see like 3-4 times at least, maybe more. Who knows?
Thanks and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Congrats, champ. Would you say with the success your mother had earlier this week and then the victory of your sister and yourself, this was the most successful week in the Shevchenko family history?
Definitely, yes. It was the most successful so far. I think it's going to be even more in the future. And knowing that our mom became world champion in shadow boxing, it gave us, for me and my sister, so big motivation. And I would say that our family, because we are all women who do martial arts, and it's like real example of women power.
Valentina, do you have an end date in mind for this career? You've done it for so long, as you mentioned, since training since you were 5 years old. Is there a number like age 35 or age 36 or 34 that you're thinking about? Could you tell us?
I don't have a date. I think it's very early, 35, 36, because, I believe that a person who has, who still have it, desire, technique, power, strength, it has to use it till the end.
Yeah.
Because if you decide to, okay, I'm gonna stop it now, and probably after a few years, you are thinking oh, why I wouldn't try to do it again? I come back from my retirement. But there is another factor that you are not the same person. You are older. You lost your skills because you didn't enough good trainings, and you didn't maintain your spirit of the fighter. And the time is already gone. And then you are look back and oh, it's so frustrating why I took that decision. That's why I am a person who believe you have to use your potential right now, right today, before you're gonna feel, okay, this is time to do something else.
Absolutely. Some fighters, though, seem like they don't get it, and then they start losing, and pretty soon the women you can beat now, they're beating you. Do you feel like before you see your skills go lower and lower and lower, for sure you'll get out? We don't have to see you start getting beaten up when you're older?
I tell you what, my skills never get lower. It's not gonna be lower, lower, and lower. It's gonna be higher, higher, and higher.
Even as you get older?
Till 50s.
I love it. All respect to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Let's see who he has. Maybe he'll bring Oliveira. I know, right? Look, no mark, barely no mark time. I would hope. Waleed is there. Someone's got a. Oh, these guys. Oh, these guys good. There we go. That's
Davison, congratulations on your victory tonight. Your first title defense, first pay-per-view headliner, first Vegas fight. What's the feeling like for you right now?
Davidson, parabéns. Pay-per-view, luta principal. Como é que você está se sentindo agora?
Bom, eu estou muito feliz. Eu e minha equipe trabalhamos para dar esse big show hoje aqui no evento, né? Então, eu entrei lá, falei que ia finalizar esse cara no primeiro round e finalizei. Eu cumpri com o que sempre eu falo antes das lutas.
You know, I'm very happy. And I told everybody, if you guys remember, I'm gonna submit him in the first round. And I did again. I promised you something, and I'm do it. This is what he keep saying. He did this with Benavides, gonna knock out him in the second round, and he knocked out Benavides in the second round. On the second fight, he said he's gonna submit Benavides because Benavides never was submit in the first round, and he submit Benavides. Now, yesterday, tell everybody I'm gonna submit him in the first round, and he submit Alex Perez in the first round. You know, he's a kind of champion. Say what you're gonna do and do it.
Can you talk about the mentality of coming in this evening? Like, how does it feel different as being a champion? Is there an added pressure? Are there added nerves? Anything as a champion versus a challenger?
O que mudou hoje? Qual foi a pressão? Porque você, sendo campeão, teve muita pressão, porque você não era mais o desafiante, você é o campeão. Teve muita pressão por isso?
Bom, eu não vejo pressão em cima de mim. Eu sou um cara bem paciente no que eu quero. Eu sabia que estava defendendo ali algo que é meu, que é o meu cinturão. E eu estava ali para nocautear o cara, para mostrar a ele que eu sou superior a ele. Então eu não nocauteei, mas eu finalizei, como eu falei. Eu finalizei no primeiro round e mostrei a minha superioridade a ele.
I'm very patient. I come here, no pressure. I know this is my belt. I know I'm gonna be the champion for a long time. You know, I have no pressure at all. And I come here to do what I told everybody I'm gonna do. Submit in the first round. He said to everybody, I'm gonna finish the fight in the first round. And he finished the fight in the first round.
So you get the guillotine choke, and I'm curious what the thought process is, right? Because if you miss the choke, you might tire your arms out very early, but you said, no, I'm sticking with it. So what was going through your head that you said, I've got this, I'm staying with it?
Quando tu pegou a guilhotina, tu ficou apertando, o que foi na tua cabeça? Posso ficar cansado?
Não, na verdade,
eu vou continuar apertando.
Na verdade, eu peguei ele ali na guilhotina e a guilhotina não estava totalmente encaixada. Eu olhei para o meu treinador, eu não olhei, eu escutei a voz do meu treinador, Ian Coelho, né, do jiu-jitsu, e ele me falou, não abandona a posição que está pegando, os olhos dele estão fechados. Eu disse, bom, então eu não vou abandonar, vou arrochar agora. Aí foi aí que eu apertei mais ainda e fazendo com que ele desse os 3 tapinhas ali.
You know what? When I get to the guillotine, I hold and he listen his coach, Ian Coelho, his jiu-jitsu coach, tell him, don't let it go, not let it go. Hold, because he closed his eyes. He closed the eyes. He gonna tap, like, you know what I mean? The coach saw the guy gonna tap, say, okay, now I'm gonna hold, and the guy tapped 3 times. The Alex tapped 3 times.
And Dana was here earlier, and he said that he'd like for you to stay in Vegas and fight Moreno in December. Does that sound like a plan to you? Is that what you'd like to do? And if so, would it be difficult to make weight again that quickly?
Bom, Dana falou que queria que tu lutasse agora em dezembro. Esse é teu plano? Vai lutar em dezembro? Como é que está a tua cabeça agora para isso? Vai bater o peso tão rápido assim?
Pois é uma pressão muito grande, mas essa mesma pressão que eu vou sofrer, o Breno Moreno também vai sofrer. O cara que bateu peso ontem, então vamos enfrentar a mesma dificuldade com ele. Mas vamos ver que surpresa eu vou ter essa noite, né? Eu dei um show da noite lá, eu espero pelo menos ganhar o bônus da noite. Ganhando o bônus da noite, eu fico para fazer essa luta com o Breno Moreno.
You know, the pressure I gonna have to get the weight, he gonna have. You know, we in the same spot. It's the war for both sides. If I have pressure, he's gonna have pressure. But you know, I'm gonna come back to the hotel because I gave a wonderful show for everybody. You know, he's a kind of champion. Say what he gonna do and do it. What better champion to that? And he not get the bonus of the night. He say, hey, Dana, if you really like me, really wanna I'm fighting here, you need to give him the bonus of the night for sure, because I deserve. I'm performance. I bring back the excitement for flyweight category because the champion say what he gonna do it and do it. There is no prize. How many people all over the world gonna watch now flyweight division and he not get bonus of the night? This is unbelievable. He told me, I want to come back to Brazil, say, no, relax. The boss is going to take care of you, because this is say that.
Davison, over here. Do you have a prediction for Brandon Moreno for what round or submission or knockout?
My bad.
That's all right, brother.
Bom, olhando fisicamente para o Breno Moreno, é um cara que, se eu tocar nele, eu parto ele no meio. E eu vou colocar o Breno Moreno para baixo e vou finalizá-lo. Não vou fazer o mínimo de esforço possível para isso acontecer. Ele mesmo tocando em mim vai cair e eu vou amassar ele e vou finalizá-lo.
You know, I think I'm gonna destroy him. If I touch him, I'm gonna put him in like I'm gonna break him just in touching him. Because Brandon Moreno talk a lot of bad things about him. And they have a personal problem with Brandon Moreno. And he think he's gonna destroy Brandon Moreno in December. But he wanted the boss show the desire to see this fight.
Champ, when you joined the UFC in 2017, not long after that, they started cutting flyweights. And they even traded the former champion to another organization. Were you concerned when you saw that I may never get my shot in the UFC to win the championship because of what was happening at that time?
Quando você entrou no UFC, logo depois eles começaram a querer cortar essa categoria. O que você achou disso quando eles começaram a querer cortar? Se preocupou com isso?
Bom, eu particularmente me preocupei sim. Eu era um cara que estava chegando na categoria quando surgiu a novidade que queriam tirar minha categoria, né, do UFC. E de imediato eu tomei uma decisão, nocautear todos na minha categoria e mostrar a eles que tem alguém de potencial para segurar a categoria. E esse sou eu. Eu estou aqui para animar, para dar show nessa categoria.
Yes, I was very, very concerned about the finish of the flyweight division. You know, when he saw the people talk about he's gonna finish, he said, hey, I come to flyweight division to knock out, to submit everybody, to bring back the excitement, show the world the power of the flyweight division. He always think I'm gonna save this weight class because the people don't know my power. I'm gonna show everybody I can submit and knock out everybody and give a good show for the people.
I think Henry Cejudo would probably take issue with you saying you saved the flyweight division. I think Henry would say he did that. But when did, for you, you see it start to turn around? Was there a point where you started to get confident that, hey, the UFC is committed to flyweights and that they're going to keep us on? Was there one point where you started to relax and feel like you had a chance?
Quando foi o momento que você começou a ver que a categoria ia continuar, que você começou a relaxar, dizer, pô, não, essa categoria vai continuar. E ele no começo falou que quem também começou a trazer coisa boa para a categoria foi o Cejudo.
Ah, verdade, verdade. Isso não discordo. O Henry Cejudo foi um grande cara também que fez a categoria permanecer. E ele saiu da categoria, né? Decidiu subir e eu assumi o posto aí. Então, agora eu estou sustentando a categoria. E vou sustentar por longos tempos. Eu sou o dono do cinturão. Sou o melhor peso por peso que tem aqui.
Yeah, you know, this is true. Henry Cejudo was a great champion was very important for the flyweight weight class. But now I am the champion. I'm gonna hold this category. I'm gonna show the world what we can do. O que mais falou no final? Que vai ficar muito tempo. I'm gonna be for long time champion of the flyweight division. You guys can write down everything I say. I predict it happen. Don't forget that.
And then my last question, and thank you, Waleed, for that. My last question would be, when you look at the talent in the division in 2017 compared to where it is today, do you think it's significantly better now than it was then?
Quando você olha para a categoria em 2017, você olha para a categoria agora, você acha que a categoria está melhor agora?
Eu acho que em 2017 tinha muitos caras bons na categoria. E esses caras não estão mais, né? E eu gostaria que eles tivessem. Demetrio Johnson. Tem um russo que eu não lembro o nome dele aqui no momento. Mas eram uns caras muito bons, fortes. Até mesmo o Brendo Moreno. Sempre deu show nas lutas dele. Então, hoje resta um pouco, mas eu tenho certeza que tem muitos talentos ainda que vão surgir. Mas eu vou estar sempre preparado para quem for que venha tentar pegar o meu cinturão.
You know, yes, I have some good guys on this time. Brendo Moreno fought in 2017. Qual outro falou? Brendo Moreno?
Um russo aí, não lembro o nome dele.
The Russian, he not remember the name. The Master Johnson. But now he think he one of these guys in his category because he wanna beat everybody. He wanna clean the flyweight division. You know what I mean? This is what he wanna. He wanna everybody think is good, try to fight against him.
When you clean out the flyweight division, is bantamweight possible next, or is that something that's not going to be of any interest to you?
Se você limpar a categoria a flyweight, você acha que você pode ir para bantamweight, para de cima, para 61?
Isso com certeza, sem sombra de dúvidas. Eu sou um cara que meu pensamento está muito forte em subir, mas eu ainda devo muito à categoria 57 quilos. E eu estou aqui para cumprir com o que eu falei. Vou defender o meu cinturão 5 vezes. E já defendi uma, ainda tem 4 aí para cumprir.
You know, I really think I have a strong mind, but I have the commitment with the flyweight division. He wanna defend his belt for 5 times and make depend for the boss. If the boss wanna he go up, show he gonna, you know what I mean? Everything depends what the people wanna see. You know what I mean? He's an entertainer fighter, and for sure he wanna be the champion for battleweight division.
We're here. A question for Davison and also for you, Waleed. How many days would you think he would think about signing the contract? Because the date seems to be December 12th or 19.
It's December 12th. You know, he was really disappointed when he not get the bonus of the night because the performance he gave for everybody. And I push him to stay here, not come back to Brazil, because December 12th is now. But I'm gonna talk to Dana, to Hunter, to Mick, and I'm gonna put him to stay because I wanna see this fight. You know what I mean? It's good for the sport. It's good to show his power. He very disappointed. This is the truth. You know what I mean? He come to me, say, but let's go to Brazil. Say, no, relax, man, relax. The UFC always good with you. You know what I mean? Because UFC always good with him. You know what I mean? No doubt about. No doubt about. You know what I mean? UFC is wonderful, man. I told him, hey, relax. We're going to figure it out. And I think we're going to stay here, going to fight on December 12th card and give another show. The most important, show the world the power of this category. But you remember, guys, I told this before he be champion. Hey, this is a great category. This is a great weight class. And when you have a champion, say what he's going to do and do it. This is a priceless. And his guy is a kind of champion. Yesterday he said that, I'm going to submit you, remember?
He did, yes.
And every place he go, I'm going to knock out or submit. He say, if you see the right translation, say, I'm going to hurt him and after submit him. If you see the translation, because I say, I'm going to submit or knock out him. But the right translation yesterday was, I'm going to punch, I'm going to hurt him, and after submit him. And he did in the first round. How much is this for the sport? This is a priceless. He's a real champion. What's the question for him? What was the question for him?
No, it's okay. It's a good thing.
Anything else?
Davidson.
Davidson, tá de Davidson.
Sua esquerda.
You don't need a translation for this one. Thank you.
Tudo bom, Davidson? Eu queria saber qual foi a dificuldade para você, se você teve, né, alguma dificuldade para bater o peso para essa luta e o quão difícil você imagina que seria ter que bater de novo para dezembro, dia 19.
Bom, dificuldade eu sempre tenho, né? Bater 57 quilos. Mas agora eu creio que vai ser eu nunca tive essa experiência, cara. Vai ser a minha primeira experiência. Mas eu creio que vai ser fácil, porque bati um dia desses 57 quilos. Se daqui a um mês para bater de novo, para mim é tranquilo. Eu quero ter essa experiência.
Você mencionou a questão do bônus, né? Quão surpreso você ficou? Como foi receber essa notícia? Você tinha certeza que receberia? E se você estava brincando ou está falando sério que depende de uma recompensa ou de um bônus chegando no hotel para essa luta sair do papel em dezembro?
Pois é, eu estive acompanhando as lutas todas e dentre elas a minha luta eu fiz uma variação muito boa, cara. Eu fiz uma apresentação muito boa hoje. E, particularmente, eu acho que eu mereço um bônus, sim. E eu pegando esse bônus, eu fico aqui para fazer a luta com o Brandon Moreno. Eu acredito no UFC e sei que ele vai rever isso aí para me dar um bônus nessa luta.
Certo. Você mencionou a questão de defender 5 vezes o cinturão, hoje foi a primeira. De onde vem esse desejo? Por que você estipulou essa meta? E a partir do momento, depois a quinta subir de categoria é o próximo passo?
A situação é que quanto mais a idade vai passando, mais difícil fica perder peso. Eu sou um cara que vou fazer 33 e eu já sinto uma grande dificuldade para perder peso. Já não é mais como antes. Eu demoro a perder. Mas eu estou disponível aí para fazer mais 4 defesas e subir de categoria.
Só mais 2 perguntas, então. Primeiro, eu queria saber, por que você chegou nesse número? Você conversou com a sua equipe? Por que essa meta? Algum recorde que você quer bater? Pessoal?
Bom, na verdade, cara, não é uma... como posso te falar? É mais questão de perda de peso mesmo. Eu não quero ficar tanto tempo sofrendo para bater 57 quilos. E com 35 anos aí eu já quero estar lutando mesmo por lutar sem estar sofrendo esse negócio de perda de peso, dieta todos os dias, longos meses.
Certo. A última pergunta que eu queria fazer, antes de pedir para você mandar um recado, né? Demetrius Johnson. Por que você acha que o Demetrius não conseguiu manter a categoria em alta, sendo que ele finalizava e nocauteava, né? Das 11 defesas, 7 foram por via rápida. O que você tem de diferente para manter a categoria atrativa?
Bom, Demetrius Johnson é um fenômeno, né? O cara que nocauteava, finalizava. Mas ele não tem o que eu tenho, pô. Eu tenho estilo. E eu tô aqui, eu sou um cara... como que eu posso falar? Danger. Sou um cara carismático, perigoso. Eu tô aqui na categoria para nocautear, eu sou feroz. E isso faz a categoria ficar animada. Com esse meu jeito, eu faço a categoria ficar animada.
I can translate that. This is a good answer. He asking why you think Demetrio Johnson cannot finish 7 of the 10 fights, correct? 7 for 11 fights. Why you gonna make different? And he said, I'm a stylist guy. I'm a charismatic guy. And I'm feroz. Como é que é feroz? Like I'm danger. I'm really gentle. Como é que é feroz?
I'm dangerous.
Danger, you know what I mean? I'm danger. And everything I gonna do it, I say before. And I do it. This bring the attention. Everybody wanna see. This guy gonna do this. He's gonna do. He said something, but he gonna do. And this is what he do. He say what he gonna do and do it.
My teacher,
he say he have the whole package.
My teacher Lovato. My little name is Danger.
My little name is Danger. And another thing, he gonna be choose the best fighter of the year. He need to be the top 3 fighters, the best fighter pound per pound. There's no doubt about. The performance he did this year, he need to be in the top 5 pound per pound, no doubt about.
Last for me, Davidson, de novo eu aqui. Se você puder mandar um recado para os fãs do Brasil que estão vendo ao vivo aqui, o que eles podem esperar do Davidson, talvez para dezembro e para 2021 também.
Galera do Brasil que estão me vendo ao vivo, forte abraço para vocês. Hoje, mais uma vez, eu cumpri com a minha palavra, entrei dentro do octógono e finalizei no primeiro round, levando mais um cinturão para nós no Brasil. E estou aqui para dar show, continue mandando essa energia positiva e eu vou estar sempre representando muito bem vocês e mostrando um pouquinho do meu show em cada luta que eu entrar dentro do octógono. Thank you guys. Good night. My English poquito. Eu hablo também mexicano.
You know, I'm not playing games, I'm not acting out here. This is all I do.
All of us have different paths to greatness. We all have to find that one path and we have to go for it.
We've got some real interesting line movements at the top of this card.
If this is not what legends are made of, I don't know what is.
Welcome to UFC Fight Business. I'm John Brinkus.
Oh, what? This is what I pay to see right here, baby.
Kevin was 9 years old. He said, Mom, I'm gonna be famous one day.
Oh! He was like an overnight sensation.
He did tell me he gonna be famous one day. And that's what he did.
A switch happened in my mind.
We go to the judges' scorecards for a decision.
2018, when I was away,
The winner by split.
I thought, how about if I knocked all those people out? And boom.
Whoa! One of the greatest knockouts you'll ever see! He has vaulted to UFC superstardom.
I was just gonna go out there and dominate one way or another. When I close the book on this chapter in my life, I will be the most violent combat athlete that ever walked on this earth.
Knockouts Only brings you the best KO action from over 20,000 fights available on UFC Fight Pass. Each episode brings you a collection of classic KOs from across the combat sports world. Knockouts Only, available now on UFC Fight Pass.